Oh, shit.
There we go. Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Heel Phenom, SP3. And yes, we are back again with part 2 of AEWramble episode 202 Unified, reviewing last night's AEW Summer Blockbuster, AEW Dynamite and Collision. Y'all know the deal.
Listen up, you prick!
Yes, we are here to discuss AEW Dynamite and Collision Summer Blockbuster. That is Jimmy Macram. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. We apologize for any inconvenience with the first part of our stream. StreamYard just decided to work against us and said fuck all y'all time and fuck me, fuck my missus being happy with me. She's gonna be upset with me. I have to start the stream and basically restart it at the time that we would probably be like 2 hours already done. Here we are again. Thank you for joining us if you're with us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand as well. Remember to show your appreciation back the simplest way possible is by dropping a thumbs up on this video. You can share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, you can sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you guys, hear your thoughts on last night's Summer Blockbuster. If you were with us earlier today, we appreciate y'all for watching the first part of the stream, and appreciate anyone who's in the chat way two hours after the stream the feed on us. And I want to say, I'm going to say it publicly. Thank you, Jimmy, for having the stream open on a different window, because we would have been talking much longer if you didn't recognize that.
Like, nobody really talking. That's odd. Usually people don't shut the fuck up. What's going on there? Let's check to see what's going on.
Like I see it here. I don't see it over here. What's going on here? And I was like, oh, yeah, it's because we've been cut. We've been cut from the ether. If it wasn't for this happening to Fightful in the Weeds earlier in the week, I would have been more upset. But I was just like, no, we were due. It happened to In the Weeds where their screen was just black. Ours it basically just kept, I don't know if anybody had a black screen or not. I know when I pulled it up on YouTube, it just replayed the last part of the video that played for everybody, and then it just did the squiggly, the roundabout thing. So here we are.
That's a shame. I don't know what we were talking about. Oh, right, Ospreay and them.
Yes, Ospreay we were talking about. That was the last thing we talked. I think the last thing we talked about was the backstage with the Hurt Syndicate jumping Commander. I think that was the last thing we covered.
Right. Ill. Last thing, Commander. That's got to leave a bad taste in somebody's mouth. No disrespect. You're very talented.
I think the last thing that everybody saw us talking about was you not giving 5 stars to Swerve and Ospreay, and that's when Tony Khan decided to cut us.
I know, he's a very bitter young man. Sir, it's a good match. It's a very good match.
Great. You said great. You said great earlier. Now you're saying good?
No. I said when you gave it 4.5, I said that would be great, not tremendous. Sorry, but
yeah, I said 4.5, 4 3/4. That's tremendous.
4 3/4 is tremendous. Yes. 4.5 is, was that 9? You know what? 4.5 is tremendous. 4 3/4, we're gonna say that's like, it's goofy, spellbinding or breathtaking, or some other horse shit.
Spellbinding. I was riveted by the action.
Yes, awe-inspiring. All those Chat GPTs words that they spit out means nothing really. I'm trying to elongate your word count. But yeah, I thought it was a really good match. Very good. If you want to go great, I'm not gonna be mad at you.
You said great.
4 stars-ish. That level.
I do love how you just gradually go lower and lower on a match the more you talk about it.
I mean, the opening with the fucking twisting and spinning and horseshit they do, which I'm good with as long as it doesn't end in a stare down. And of course it did. Fucking yeah. And then it's the fucking chops that Swerve doesn't feel. And Ospreay's the weakest chopper ever, and Swerve just punches him in the mouth and he goes down. Good Lord. I thought we saw that already. We did see that already. Wasn't that Hangman and Swerve? Hangman and Ospreay, rather? At the pay-per-view, whatever that was?
Well, Hangman hits harder. He's a harder hitter.
So does Swerve, apparently. So does everybody Ospreay face. So does Takeshita. Everybody against Ospreay. He's just not a good hitter.
Takeshita. What can you do?
You know what he should do? He should stop hitting people. You're clearly not very good at it. Why is Ospreay still engaging in these things? Match might go faster.
He's faster. I agree. Clearly. He should use his speed and his athleticism to better capacity.
Where do we rank him on the dumb wrestler scale? Is he ahead of Wardlow? Is he ahead of Damian Priest?
Yeah. Definitely ahead of Wardlow. Did you hear Wardlow's going to be on American Gladiators?
What? I mean, good for him. Is he healthy?
I know he's
healthy enough to be on American Gladiators.
Yeah, he was injured and then he got healthy and he got this TV gig. So him and Tony had a meeting and he didn't want to bring him back to TV when he was going to do this TV gig.
That's code for I ain't got nothing for you. So yeah, go ahead and do that. Go ahead.
You go ahead and do that, brother. I want to see the best for you. And if you haven't already, if you're with us live, sound off in the live chat. That's how we know we're live on air. We appreciate y'all if you're live in the chat. If you're feeling generous, you want to get back to what we do here, send a super chat donation. That helps us out so much. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here, and we always appreciate the support. Davion says, dang, StreamYard wasn't messing with y'all. It seems so. What we'll probably do later, I'll hit up Baby Seth and he'll put together. I'm gonna trim down the first stream so it cuts the last 2 hours and it'll just cut us off from you not giving 5 stars to Will and Swerve. And then he can put it together from there.
I think it's fine right now.
It edited down? No, it's like 3 hours the last time I saw.
Oh yeah, it is. Damn. Yeah, it is.
I don't want to.
But when you click on it,
we did get a lot of views.
But when you click on it, it's 57 minutes and 58 seconds.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully. You also got Ace who says, "What's up, SP3 and Jimmy?" We got Power Driver Finisher in the chat who says Speedball is a better striker as well. Goddamn, Will can't win with anybody.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Power Driver Finisher says, I think he is healthy, just that he got a TV thing or whatever. Yeah, he got cleared. He got cleared to compete, and then he got the TV deal. And Tony was like, he didn't want to bring him back before that because he would have to write him off immediately after for him to do American Gladiator. So that makes sense to me. What we didn't mention when you guys were on here with us, we had a backstage segment with Renee Paquette speaking with Kazuchika Okada. Don Callis interrupts. He asks why Okada is in this matchup and now Kyle Fletcher or Konosuke Takeshita, and he asks if Okada had a better 6 months than either of his guys, and Callis shook his finger at Okada. Okada grabbed it as the Don Callis family stepped in, and Okada looked around and calls Callis a bitch before walking off, and we both agreed. We thought that this was kind of Okada leaning towards a tweener role ahead of All in Texas, but we would see later that was not the case.
God damn it. Really want to catch Okada. Well, maybe we'll get it.
You might. We'll talk more about that later when we get to that. And then we got footage of the Hurt Syndicate. They were backstage viciously beating down Commander earlier in the day. MJF holding his mask. Commentary told us that Mascarero Dorada would be replacing Commander in the 6-man tag against the Hurt Syndicate later in the show. So and then Fightful Select Sean Ross Sapp reported that Commander was actually legitimately injured, and that was their way of writing him off. So hopefully Commander has a speedy recovery after the injury.
Absolutely. Don't want to hear about anybody getting injured. I look forward to him getting healthy, going back to Collision.
I was like, this is way too nice. I know.
What are you talking about?
I know that. I know the other pin's gonna drop eventually.
What are you talking about? Collision is important, nice. Or at least it's important right now until WBD decides it's not because they run by fucking incompetence. Did they get it last time? I don't remember.
It's going to be Dynamite's going to be on the TV end, and then they're going to put Collision on the streaming part of the company.
Fucking insanity. Imagine signing that deal, and then fucking 6 months later, we're talking about we don't really care about TV, we don't really care about sports. Huh? What the fuck I signed here for? What the fuck? Good Lord. Incompetence. No disrespect.
There you go. And then we had our next matchup, which was Mystico going one-on-one with Blake Christian. Blake Christian got the jobber entrance, didn't even get an entrance as Mystico came down to the ring. Mystico wanted to shake hands with Blake, who decided to flip him off. They both started trading a quick series of takedowns until Mystico scaled the ropes, but Christian slammed him down. Mystico battled back with a handspring elbow and a head scissors before a twisting arm drag off the top sent Christian outside. Mystico hit a tope suicida, smooth tope suicida, where it was like no hands. He just like basically headbutt him in midair before going back inside with the springboard crossbody for a 2. Lee Johnson tripped up and distracted Mystico enough for Blake to fly in with a corkscrew dive and a 450 splash back into the ring for a 2. Christian then again went up top, but Mystico was able to recover. He catches him with the enziguri and then finishes off with a Spanish fly off the top rope. 1, 2, 3. Mystico picks up a win in his return to AEW Dynamite. I thought this was a decent matchup. Mystico looked good. This was just a showcase for him because he has bigger fish to fry as the Hurt Syndicate made their way down to ringside. MVP said that he won't be the one to address Mystico. MJF will. MJF says that it was an impressive showing, and that's coming from the most complete pro wrestler in the sport today. MJF will give Mystico a match at Grand Slam Mexico. Looking forward to ripping the dime store mask off his stupid face. Mystico is getting a Patriot in Mexico as he's going to dust off the red, white, and blue trunks. And God bless America, and God bless your American hero, Maxwell Jacob Freeman. The U.S. flag lowers down and massive streamers come down. He always has the most ridiculous amount of streamers ever. MJF got in the ring with the microphone, but Mystico cuts him off, laughing, saying that he'll see you in next week at his home in Arena Mexico. MJF says that he's not Mystico to him. He's still Sloppy Sin Cara, which popped me and got some ooze from the crowd. He's about to get dropped when Mystico blocked a punch and dropped MJF with the right hand, as then Lashley and Benjamin pounced on Mystico. A 3-on-1 beatdown commenced as MJF demanded the mask. He tried to rip it off of Mystico's head, but the music of Speedball Mike Bailey, he comes out with Kevin Knight and Mascarero Dorada. The Syndicate then ran to cut them off on the aisle, but they appeared in the ring and they do a trifecta of dives that was quite hesitant because of all the streamers on the ropes, but still they were able to complete it before we go to our next matchup. But it is official. It's going to be Mystico one-on-one with MJF next week in Arena Mexico, which should be a hot crowd in Mexico City for their top draw, Mystico versus AEW's top draw, MJF. what did you think about Mystico and Blake Christian in the post-match with MJF ripping into Mystico to set up this match?
How old is Mystico?
He has to be in his like late 30s at this point.
Was that match
early 40s?
Yes, whatever. Yeah. Was that match meant to spotlight Mystico? Because I don't think it did that. I think it did quite the opposite. No, the young high flyer they have over there, fucking what's his face?
Blake Christian.
Like Will Ospreay. No, good on you. Good on you, young kid. You got some moves to you. I was not
Blake Christian out here trying to be Queen Abinada where they get spotlighted despite being the one that's supposed to be spotlighted their opponent.
Yes, that is an actual issue. And I think that happened here. I'm not saying he'll be over as fuck next week, which as far as what he was supposed to do on this episode, I didn't think the match was great. I didn't think Mystico looked particularly good. Nor did I think he came across. Oh, the best part about Mystico here was when MJF was talking and we could kind of close up on his fucking eyes. Like, that's a badass motherfucker right there, but too bad. I already saw you wrestle. Not impressed. No disrespect.
Yeah, Greg Carter second confirms he's 42. Looks good for 42.
Old. Yeah, he's not old. Yeah. You got your whole life ahead of you. Your whole wrestling career, not so much.
No, you're at the tail end. The tail end of your prime, basically. Even though they say 40 is the new 30 in pro wrestling, it seems.
I mean, yeah. I mean, though, it's a pretty steep cliff once you hit 50. How's Punk? 45, 46?
40. I think he's like 46, 47.
The last great wrestler at 50? Flair?
Who's the last great wrestler in their 50s? CM Punk is 46, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, but Mystico's style doesn't seem like it's a Punk or a Flair. No offense. 40 might be the end of it. No disrespect. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear how
you're like. There's only few and far between in their 40s who are looking that good.
Yeah, they all wrestle the similar way. Jericho too. I don't want to hear about how Rey Mysterio hasn't missed a beat. He certainly fucking has.
Yes.
Knock it all the way off. No disrespect.
Christian is probably the best in their 50s.
Yeah, somebody else who wrestles that kind of style. Kind of not necessarily slow, but methodical, we'll say.
Yeah, you're gonna have to switch it up a bit. It's. I will say it is harder for the high flyers to adapt to when their athleticism seeps away.
It just wanes a little bit. No disrespect.
Yeah,
Chris Paul's gonna age better than fucking Vince Carter. It is what it is. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Sting was good. Sting was probably better in his 60s than he was in his 50s.
Yeah, that's true.
Then you had up next the trios matchup with the Hurt Syndicate, MJF, Shelton Benjamin, and Bobby Lashley. Huh? Versus Mascareno Dorado and Jet Speed. Love the fact that MJF was rocking fucking MVP bodysuit, which was hilarious. It had MJF on the back. The bell sounded and the Hurt Syndicate attacked, slamming Bailey and Knight into the barricade while MJF toyed with Mascareno Dorada, doing a flip before hitting an eye poke. MJF mocked the crowd as Dorada returned the favor with the eye poke of his own and a twisting head scissors before Bailey and Knight made some quick tags and sliding uppercuts and running shooting star press combo that got a near fall as Bailey lit up MJF with the speedball kicks before Dorada sprung in but was backed into the wrong corner where Lashley chucked Dorada to the floor. Back from break, MJF tried the balling elbow, but he missed as MVP says there's a few things he needs to show him. Knight made the hot tag and ran wild, impressing even MVP after hitting a massive dropkick and the UFO splash. MJF frantically dove to tag Lashley in, and he and Benjamin had a face-off with Bailey and Knight, previewing a Jet Speed Hurt Syndicate tag team title match. You had Benjamin and Lashley ragdoll jet speed for a bit, a massive spine buster onto Bailey as MJF yelled for a tag. Lashley reluctantly obliged, and MJF hits Made in Japan for a 2 count, but he took too long mocking Bailey, who hit him with a pump kick. Dorado flew in and wiped out MJF, but Lashley sprinted in with a spear. Bailey unloaded the machine gun speedball kicks as Knight struggled, but eventually got a DDT on Shelton Benjamin. That was an awkward looking spot. Then it was an awkward looking double drop kick onto Benjamin, who fell too early. Jet Speed then hit dueling dives on Lashley and Benjamin. Dorado followed with the shooting star press off the ropes onto MJF. Bailey was setting up for the Ultimo Weapon as MJF went and grabbed the referee Bryce Rensburg, allowing MVP to crack Bailey on the back with his cane off the top rope. And then MJF followed up and got the job done with a hammerlock DDT for the 1-2-3. The Hurt Syndicate pick up their first win as a trio with MJF teaming with Shelton and Bobby here. I thought this was a solid matchup. Some clunky spots with the DDT from Knight to Lashley and then the double drop kick on Benjamin. It just looked like Jet Speed was a little too fast for Lashley and Benjamin in this one. But post-match, Lashley and Benjamin just completely wiped any chance of Jet Speed feeling like top contenders for the Hurt Syndicate as they attacked them, leaving MJF in the ring with Dorado. He unmasks Masquerado Dorada and then basically poses with the mask for a bit after the Lashley and Benjamin take Jet Speed to the floor. He walks around with the mask until Mystico flies in and hits La Mystica and then locks on the armbar as MJF frantically taps out. The Hurt Syndicate quickly made the save as Mystico sprinted up the ramp and stared down with MJF, once again teasing their upcoming showdown coming up next week at Arena Mexico, Grand Slam Mexico, AEW Dynamite, which should be a good matchup here. So post-match was more concerned with building the MJF and Mystico matchup. I thought that they didn't do any favors to Jet Speed, who feel like the most realistic option at this point because the Young Bucks and FTR are busy with other things for some reason heading into All In Texas, when I really feel like at this point FTR should probably be in the tag team title scene. That was the whole reason that they turned heel in the first place, but now they're kind of just busy going on side missions for a bit here. But I thought that they should have done a better job of kind of building up Jet Speed. And I know probably originally maybe the plan was for Commander to take the pin here, but I think that if Masquerade Dorado is taking the place of Commander, he should have probably been the one to take the loss instead of Speedball to protect Jet Speed as potential challengers for the Hurt Syndicate. But maybe that's me. We got Frantic World, who says MJF is like Owen Hart when he was in the Nation of Dominations. There's only one Nation of Domination, not Nation of Dominations. We got Power Driver Finisher. He says they knew Speedball was a threat, so that's why they protected him by hitting him with a cane, I guess. They shouldn't have pinned either Speedball or Knight. If they are going to potentially be challengers for the Hurt Syndicate down the line, you got to do other things to protect them from taking the loss here. I have no issue with the Hurt Syndicate winning this matchup. I mean, if you really wanted to set up Jet Speed as the challengers for the Hurt Syndicate at All In Texas, then yes, Jet Speed and well, it was supposed to be Commander, but Jet Speed and Dorado should have took the victory here. But I'm fine with establishing that MJF, Shelton, and Bobby are a formidable force as a trio together. I'm fine with them getting the win. And this was also about building up to MJF and Mystico. So MJF can't take the loss here. I know the Hurt Syndicate ain't going to take the loss here. So it made sense for them to win. You just don't pin Speedball or Knight. You pin Dorado.
Slow cocksucker.
What happened?
Oh, sorry. My bad. Let's call somebody a slow cocksucker.
Yes, I did hear that part. You were very audible on that.
Oh, my bad.
It is totally fine. Totally fine. Davion says MJF got bring the tunnel for a special entrance since he got the MVP fit. I would love if he went to the old school MVP entrance as well to go along with the bodysuit.
I'm not against that idea. I'm not against it.
Any thoughts on the trios matchup?
I thought it was bad.
I thought it was solid until the comeback. The comeback, it just got really sloppy, and it just felt like Jet Speed were way faster than Shelton and Bobby.
Yeah, it kind of perfectly encapsulates why they shouldn't be fucking heels. Hurt Syndicate. They gotta sit there, they gotta sell. They can't look too good over these cocksuckers. They're baby faces. What the fuck? It just is.
I agree. Just let them run rush shot. Let them be the Black Road Warriors.
What does he hold up? What is the issue? It's not like the other tag teams are fucking baby faces. Fucking the Bucks, FTR. What is the issue?
I know, like the easiest solution here should be Hurt Syndicate versus FTR at All In Texas, because all you're doing right now is making fucking FTR go on all these side missions, and we're supposed to expect that Cope's supposed to be back. And I know the early plans was Cope versus Christian, but it feels like that would be so rushed if they did that now.
Yeah, I don't know if I even want to see that. If that's gonna be,
you gotta wait. You gotta at this point. You gotta wait till All Out in Toronto,
which is September, October,
yeah. September, the end of September.
Yeah, and even then, why did we do that? Wasn't it good? Can't we move on?
Cope and Christian haven't teamed together in years.
Fine. Sure. Whatever. Fuck it.
He's so mad. He's like, I'm over this shit.
Why is every idea here, even in wrestling, every idea WWE has is boring, no disrespect. Outside of Cena, and his ideas just awful. And with AEW, every idea is some shit we've seen already. Hey, wasn't that cool? You want to do that again? Let's do that again. Omega and Okada, Hangman and Swerve, Edge and Christian team together. Is that it? Is it the only ideas anybody's got? Good Lord.
Mercedes and Tony is like the only original idea.
That's it. Good Lord. What's it involve? Fucking HLA. Fantastic. Haven't seen that before.
No, it involves the 7 deadly sins. That's what the story is about.
Oh my God.
We got Davion who agrees with you. He couldn't get into this trios matchup, and Big Man Dogs makes a good point. He says, "Isn't Dorado CMLL's number 2 guy? Probably didn't want to drop him out 2 weeks in a row. Well, then get someone else who could have took the job instead of Jet Speed, who are like the only logical challengers for Hurt Syndicate at this point, if they're going to be heels."
Very quickly, Tony Khan is going to realize that business necessitates that somebody bends over. And if it ain't going to be you, it's going to be CMLL, TNA, and AAA, and WCW, ECW. Everybody had to learn that the hard way. The big dog fucks, little dogs get fucked. It is what it is.
If Worlds Collide didn't tell you anything, WWE won 3-2.
Yeah. Bend over, good buddy. Sign the check, right? You want the check, right? Great. Bend over. Sorry.
That's why Conan had to keep asking, "Can I say something? Can I say something? Can I say something?" He had to get permission to say something on commentary. We win this match, we tighten this thing up. No, nigga, you still lose. You lose 3-2. That's the math. It's 3-1, you'll lose 3-2. I mean, what are you talking about? And then this motherfucker had the audacity to ask, "What's the score? What's the score?"
I thought Graves was great, by the way. I love Graves.
Graves was excellent. He was excellent. He was very, very much Mike Tenay from the original.
Yeah.
Then we get the Death Riders. Well, first we get Hangman Adam Page's music, and then we see that the Death Riders have completed their kidnap mission and have him tied up with his hands taped up and his mouth taped up. Claudio and Wheeler Yuta are beating the hell out of him, taking him down to the ring. Marina Shafir and Jon Moxley joined them. Moxley told Hangman that he was terribly sorry about all of this, but he wants to make sure they could have a real conversation, as he knows how distracted Page can get. Moxley wants him to be focused, as this is his time for the AEW World Championship. It's do or die. Moxley has been watching Page for a long time, and he's complicated. He doesn't like Page, the millennial cowboy. Moxley doesn't know what Page has been searching for, but he has 4 weeks to find it, to step up to be the man that everyone wants him to become. If he's not prepared to do that, Page can pack his shit and get the hell out. Page fired up and gave a headbutt to Moxley, as Castagnoli quickly started beating him down and then grabbed a chair and wrapped it around Hangman's neck. He was about to Pillmanize Hangman when Moxley stops him, and then the Ops music hits and they run down to the ring to make the Death Riders bail. Hangman is freed from the tape, and he gets on the mic and he says that he's come too far and too close for that to be the best that Moxley has, as he'll ride through hell itself to get the AEW World Championship. If Page finds one of them tonight, he says that he'll take their heads. He grabbed a steel chair and he stormed through the crowd after the Death Riders. We would get a follow-up to that later in the show during the, I believe this was during the second hour of the second half of this show during the Collision portion. Hangman, we see Renee Paquette first. She's outside of the trainer's room where Will Ospreay is being tended to after taking the thumbtack sneakers earlier in the night. And the thumbtack super kick, and then we get Hangman, who it pulls up and he asks Renee how Ospreay is doing, and before she can answer, the Young Bucks enter and asks if Hangman was okay, having no clue what was going to happen to him from the Death Riders earlier. Page demands 5 words on why he shouldn't take their heads off with this steel chair. And Matthew said that we were aiming for Swerve earlier in the night, the guy they have been targeting for months, so Page would have a clear path to the Owen. And you're welcome, by the way, for that. They told Page all he needed to do now is stick the landing at All in Texas and bring the title back to the Elite, like the plan they've always had. Page says that there was never a plan. He hadn't talked to them in months. He never asked them to do what they did at Dynasty or tonight. Hangman said stay out of his business, stay out of Ospreay's business, and stay out of Swerve's business, which got some oohs from the live crowd. Page said if he ever burns down a home again, it'll be because he trapped the Bucks in it first and then walks away from them. That was quite the line. As the Young Bucks said, Page just made his bed. They walk off, and we see Prince Nana spying from the trainer's room. During all of this, he comes back in and he asks Swerve if he heard all of that, and Swerve says he heard every word. And this sets up, the 2 segments set up a big-time 10-man tag team matchup for next week in Arena Mexico, Grand Slam Mexico. It will be the Death Riders, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta, teaming up with Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, the Young Bucks, to verse the Ops, Samoa Joe, Katsuyori Shibata, and Powerhouse Hobbs, along with Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay. I thought the Death Riders and I thought John Moxley was really good in this promo. This promo is probably one of Moxley's better ones, with him talking very earnestly to Hangman, but very much with the overtones of him threatening Hangman, like it's do or die. It's time for you to step up, or you'll never be worth of anything. And this is basically your redemption story, but you're gonna fail like everybody else has before you. I liked his delivery. I liked his the words that he was saying here. This was the nice combination of where Moxley finds his sweet spot here. And I like the idea of them basically this explained why Hangman didn't come out earlier in the show when Ospreay was attacked with the thumbtack sneakers, since he said he was going to have Ospreay's back last week. So I like that was a follow-up from the initial segment that we saw earlier in the show. And then I thought the follow-up, the backstage segment, was even better. I like the Young Bucks saying that they've been targeting Swerve this whole time as a way to basically be a part of their plan with Hangman, but Hangman's not a part of this plan. He's not involved with them. He hasn't been involved with them for months, literally a year now, and he just tells them off, telling them to stay out of his business, stay out of Ospreay's business, and stay out of Swerve's business. And Prince Nana, he's just great in any of these segments, whether it be promos or backstage segments. He just has the right level of still goofy manager, but at the same time, he's very likable. And him being the snitch and being like, you heard all of that, boss? It's just hilarious to me. But Jimmy, what did you think about those two segments?
This is about the hit or miss, but about the appropriate level of ridiculousness I want from my wrestling. First of all, we've duct taped somebody and we brought them to the ring. This is already insane, but whatever. Then we're gonna cut a promo while he's here. We're committing a crime and we're talking. What are we, jihadists? Like, what is going on exactly? That said, yeah, Moxley was as good as he's been lately. Like last, I don't know, 3-4 months. This is the best Moxley's been. No disrespect, but it worked for me. And Hangman is always a great fiery babyface. The post-match angle, the collision,
yeah,
with the Bucks and company. I'm not a big fan of those, and it's not just in AEW. They just did one with fucking Solo and Jacob. It's like, really, you're an evil villain, but you just say all your plans out loud. What is this, a shitty B movie? Like, what is going on here? The exact information I needed. Awesome. But assuming it's wrestling, and it is, it was good. It's fine. I do like how all these people are interacting with one another. It's a solidly told story, or at least interesting.
Yeah. I like how they took our criticism from last week, where they put everything at the front in the Dynamite hours, and they literally like spread it out, where you had the first part of the story is the Swerve and Ospreay matchup with the post match in the first like 30-40 minutes of the show. Then the middle of the show, you have the Hangman kidnapping with Moxley's promo and the Death Riders and the Ops making the save. Then you have in the second half of the show, I think this was in like the third or the fourth hour, you have the final piece of it with the backstage segment. They spread out the main event storyline throughout the show. This was better use of like the time and pacing of everything. Did you mute yourself, or is my thing on? There you go.
Those fucking they got us again. StreamYard got us again. No.
I was like, I gotta be careful with that. I gotta ask these questions now.
There you go. Like, it's an actual TV show now. You imagine if you watched House and Dr. House came on for 10 minutes and that was it? No more House for the rest of the show? Are you fucking serious? Fucking gonna watch this for then. I don't understand. We're using all the players we need to get on a lot. Not all of them. I mean, I haven't seen Willow in a while, but whatever. I get the point.
She was on this show.
Not Collision. That was go.
It was all one show.
Nope, I had to click off Dynamite to watch Collision.
Well, you watch it on Max?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nothing. I know the Max problems. The Max problems have been documented. Don't do this again, please. But next up, you have the first women's matchup on the show. First of 3 women's matchups, and then a 4th matchup that had women involved in it as well. But the first one was Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford versus TJ, Anna Jay, and Ty Mello. I like the reaction for Ty Mello, who got very emotional hearing the welcome back chants from the crowd here. Ford and Jay were dropped early, leaving Mello and Bayne to have a face-off, with Mello saying that she wasn't afraid. Ford tripped Mello up and then drove her into the steel steps. Jay was worked over with corner splashes and handspring elbows by Bayne and Ford. You get Ford licking Jay in the process at one point. We come back from commercial break, and Ty Mello got the hot tag. She hits a low snap German suplex, some brutal running knees on Ford. Bayne tossed her own partner into the corner to make a legal tag, as Mello met her with hard forearms and running corner boots. We get Ford following suit. She hits a big moonsault onto TJ on the floor after a series of big dives. Back inside, you get Bayne went for a dual Samoan drop and fall away slam on both TJ, but Ford ordered Bayne to make the tag, which never goes right for them. Whenever Penelope Ford is in control of anything, it's always going to go wrong for you. She tags in. She's eventually left alone with Ty Mello, who while Jay has the Queen Slayer on Bayne on the apron. You get Ty Mello, who drops her with a gory special into the twisting knee lift. 1, 2, 3. TJ pick up the victory here in tag team action. I thought this was actually not that bad. I thought it would be kind of clunky and stuff. I thought this was solid stuff from everybody involved. Mostly because I thought that Tay Mello, she did not have the ring rust. Like, I made the comparison earlier on Fightful. You were seeing like ring rust from someone like a Kairi Sane, who was out for like a couple of months, and we kind of been seeing like she's still getting into the flow and she's been showing rusty. Ty kind of looked like she was back in rare form, back where she was prior, like 2021, 2022. She looked good here, in my opinion. What did you think?
I think that's fucking dead on. Kairi Sane, who's usually an A-, looked like a C+ recently, and Tay Mello, who looks like a C+, came back looking like a C+. Right on target. Good job. No ring rust at all. No ring rust at all. Keep up the good work. And I want you to calm down. I want you to calm down with the praise, by the way. The big praise you just gave. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was awful. Oh, good job. Wow. Good on you. Calm down. Whoa.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
Don't be giving out 5 stars that much. Take it easy.
You get upset when I give it 3 stars. That's a 3-star explanation. I'm giving you a 3.
It is what it is. The guy, this is beneath Megan Bayne. I can't put it any other way besides that. It's fine. It's fine for what it is. This leads to Megan Bayne killing 3 people. I'd be here for it. But otherwise,
yeah, I need her to kill Penelope Ford and get rid of her at this point.
You stink. You really do stink. Just murder her. Please and thank you. Somebody commented on her fucking facial expressions. All right, I will admit she's not the most animated motherfucker in the world. You're not gonna get her confused with The Rock, but who cares? She's 6 foot, 5'10", 5'11", whatever she is. She's built like a monster. Let her fuck people up. It's not that complicated.
I agree there. Then we had the final segment for the Dynamite portion, which was Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada. This video package is one of the best things that AEW has.
I skipped it because I skipped it. If you're gonna deliver spoilers, don't deliver spoilers. I didn't want to see it. I don't know who wins what. I know. We are
rewatching the series, but this was very much like a 30 for 30 more than like a video package. It was like 6 minutes long. They go through showcasing the epic matches between Kazuchika Okada and Kenny Omega's legendary rivalry is documented. They talk about, we have the narrator who says Okada has established himself as the ace of the New Japan Pro Wrestling world, holding the IWGP title 7 times, while an outlaw in Kenny Omega appeared and challenged for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship at Wrestle Kingdom 11 in an instant classic that was a game changer for New Japan, won by Okada. That cut to the Dominion 2017 matchup, which was a war for the ages. Round 3 was in the G1 Climax 17 Block B final, which was another great matchup with a 30-minute time limit. A year later, they finally meet in their final showdown at Dominion 2018, best 2 out of 3 falls. And while after that matchup, their paths would diverge, but with any true rival, they would find their way back to one another in AEW. A stadium show for all the ages for the Continental title versus International title, winner take all, the Rainmaker versus the Best Bout Machine, one more time at All In. This was a fantastic history lesson for anyone who is unaware of why these two have this historic rivalry and are 2 of the best wrestlers of their generation. This was very well done to kind of tell the story in like 6 minutes for anyone who wasn't aware or didn't live through it when it happened. So great stuff. I think this is right up there with the Timeless Tony Storm, Mariah May video package that they had after Revolution as one of the best pieces of business AEW has done video-wise in the company's history. And then that led into the Kazuchika Okada and Kenny Omega All In Texas contract signing. Tony Schiavone is in the ring with the Continental and International titles on the table and a title covered in black. Then the All In contract between them as he introduced both Okada and Omega down to the ring. Schiavone says before they make it official, he wants to unveil the title that they would be battling for as the AEW International and Continental titles will become one as the AEW Unified title that has side plates of the Rainmaker and Omega hitting the One Wing Angel. There's no theatrics from Okada, who wastes no time in signing the contract first. Omega took the mic and said 7 years almost to the day they had their last match, and Omega almost doesn't recognize himself, so let's leave it in the ring one final time. Omega signs and the two have a face-off with Omega offering a handshake to Okada, who obliges. Then they bring each other in. They go face-to-face as they start talking trash to one another, but then Don Callis music hits and he walks to the stage. Callis told Omega this match shouldn't involve Okada. It should be Takeshita, as Omega told him to cut the shit, Don. He says this isn't about them. Callis isn't going to ruin this time. Omega said that there's not one trick Callis can pull that he doesn't know, and Callis says he bet Omega didn't know about this. As he says that, Okada attacks Omega from behind with the Continental title as Don Callis comes to the ring, and it is revealed that Don Callis is working with Kazuchika Okada. He hands him a police baton that Okada whacked Omega in the midsection with, right in the diverticulitis, laying him out, delivering one to the face as well.
Not how that works.
Medical quickly tended to Omega and places him on a backboard when Okada smirks at Callis and goes to the top rope and hits an elbow drop. Christopher Daniels came to the ring and held them back while Omega was loaded onto a stretcher. Daniels ordered Callis and Okada to leave, but Okada shoved Danielson down. He goes to the apron and he delivers another massive elbow drop to Omega's ribcage, with Omega instantly exploding with blood out of his mouth. He starts spitting out a lung, basically. This was straight out of an anime. This is straight out of an anime with the amount of blood that came out of Omega's mouth. Okada and Callis left through the crowd as Omega is tended to by attendance. Briefly, we see Alex Marvez tries to get word with Callis and Okada, but in a callback to when Kenny Omega won the AEW World Championship, Callis runs out the building with Okada. They jump in their escape car. Callis says, "They're going to kill us." And he tries to, as he didn't respond, and they peel off to end this segment. I love the ridiculous of all of this. I just love it. I thought that this was a great piece of business. This built up the matchup very well. It gives it a storyline going in. That's not just, oh, these guys had great matches before, they're going to have great matches again. This is about respect and all of that. You're actually giving it some heat, some story to sink your teeth into. Callis is a great move because I think that if you look back at all the people that have beaten Kenny Omega one-on-one, literally all of them have gotten help from Don Callis. So from Okada point of view, you're basically joining up with Callis to basically be like, he's the key to me getting this victory. After the last time that I faced Omega, and it's been 7 years, I need a little extra boost. So I got Callis to give me all the Kenny Omega secrets. And for Callis, he's always hated Omega. He hates him even more after he beat Takeshita for the International Championship. So it makes all the sense why they are aligned with each other. And Callis is the key to getting heat for Okada, because the one thing that we're going back and we're watching Okada and Omega's matches, they've never had a point where Okada was the heel for the whole entire matchup in any of their previous matches. So you want to make sure he's the heel going into this match, and Okada can work heel, but you're not going to get all the heat from the opening entrance. Fans usually want to cheer Okada when he comes out. They don't want to cheer Don Callis, so he's going to be the key to getting him the heat, and it gives Don Callis a reason to be on commentary for this matchup as well, which I think is going to be helpful for the commentary team at AEW. So really enjoyed it. I don't like the AEW Unified title name. I like the idea of a secondary top title, and I know you don't like how it looks, but I like how it looks. This has the light against it. This is a cleaner look at it. I like the look of it, and if they're going to treat this as another top title, I think that this is the direction that they need to go, and this feels like a big enough matchup where either guy, it feels like a good inaugural champion for a secondary top title. So I enjoyed this. What did you think about everything here?
Put the other picture back up, the first one. Maybe it's at an angle.
Yeah.
Light. Because that's heinous. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, the way the light hits it, I can understand why you didn't like it, but I think that the cleaner look of the close up here makes it look good.
Okay, listen, if that's the belt, that's solid. It's not great, but it's fine. I want to go in order. First things first. The fact that Omega's been dressing like a bum for however long he's been back and decided to wear a suit for this one kind of lets everybody know this is a big deal. Even though Kenny Omega's getting dressed up. I like that idea. Next would be the belt. Assuming it's not as ugly as you say. Sure. I love that we're unifying the belts. We got too many titles. Dear God. And this making a mega championship, so to speak. I like it quite a bit. As for the swerve at the end, I love Don Callis. I love Don Callis being part of this. I think there was a story here to be told, just Omega and Okada one-on-one with no shenanigans. Both older, the Omega now with, according to everything I'm being told, no insides. He has no insides left. I don't know how he does anything. He has no blood, no intestines, no nothing. Somehow he's upright and walking. There's an interesting story to be told there. Like, how much does he have left? Can he pull it off? But hey, the Don Callis route. On the match explanation, Okada's not sure of himself anymore. He has been coasting for God knows how long. Can he beat Kenny Omega with Don Callis' help? Yes, he can. As far as the actual angle, with him coughing up fucking fruit punch, it was probably more ridiculous than I like, but I did enjoy it. Strangely,
I loved it. I loved how ridiculous the amount of blood was. That bad amount of blood. I was like, this is Kenny Omega doing his wildest anime dreams. This is straight out of an anime.
Fucking Django Unchained blood. Like, this is insane. Somebody please like this. You're just gushing out. All right. Take it easy. What was that? I don't know. That's fun.
That's so fun. This was another good piece of business. Like I said, I like the main event storyline with Hangman, Moxley, Death Riders, Young Bucks, and Swerve and Ospreay, and I really enjoyed this. This was two really good angles, storyline threads with more of the main event stuff. But as far as one big angle, this is something that I feel can get heat on the matchup. The matchup is the matchup, and you're going to watch it because their legacy and their legacy of great matches. But you got to add something. You got to tell a story on the weeks to come. And I think this is a good way to kind of start the story, the actual story to this.
I would say so. And I think I might be pessimistic, but a good way to lower expectations. It has been 7 years and a few surgeries. I don't know. Still got like that.
And yes, Sean Rossap of Fightful Select did confirm that this is, AEW is treating this as a new top championship in the promotion. It's not a mid card or upper mid card type title that they're trying to establish here. And yes, they also did confirm, like Frantic World says here, that the Continental Classic tournament is staying in AEW. So I guess the winner would become the unified champion instead of the Continental champion.
It's a new top title. Wait. Say that last part again about the Continental Classic.
The winner of the Continental Classic, it would be for the unified title instead of the Continental title.
Oh, why not just make it for a title shot or something? What are we doing?
I agree. I think that's better.
No, please. As far as the unified title being another top championship, that's a nice thing to say, but that's not how that works.
Unless they're going to do a brand split.
There. Otherwise, and even then, it better be a real split because Gunther won the secondary belt. John Cena has the big belt. It is what it is. Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry. There can only be one big belt. If they're going to be on the same show at the same time, it is what it is. Sorry. Disrespect.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's basically what Big Man Dog is saying. It's basically be their big gold, I guess. Yeah.
I'm not mad at that. As long as that's it.
I'm not mad
at
it. Yeah, you don't need to split it up again like you did with fucking Eddie Kingston being the Triple Crown champion. Don't do that shit. That was dumb. But then you had the Collision end of this show, which had Tony Schiavone and Nigel McGuinness on the call, and then you get Adam Cole coming out for the that's the unified title once again.
Not terrible.
He had Adam Cole coming out, the TNT champion. He's showing the commentary team for the opening matchup on the Collision portion, which was Kyle Fletcher going one-on-one with Anthony Bowens. Cole says that Bowens has been on the run of a lifetime.
Jesus.
He failed to mention Kyle Fletcher is like 6'3", 6'4", 6'3", I think.
It looks silly right here, doesn't it? What kind of angle is that? Why does he look so much bigger than this cocksucker? So to speak. So to speak. I do not want any trouble with anybody.
I want that smoke. Fletcher goes after him. He wears him down for a bit. He even at one point starts making fun of Billy Gunn, giving him a crotch chop. We get a float over DDT after Bowens dodged a float over DDT, dodged a PK, excuse me, and then he hits an angle slam for 2. Eventually you get Lance Archer on the outside. He delivers a big kick to Billy Gunn, laying him out. Back inside, Bowens was distracted, which allowed for Fletcher to use the opening to hit the corner boot, and then he followed up with a brain buster for the 1-2-3 here. Solid enough matchup here. I thought that Bowens looked good in this one, had good chemistry with Fletcher, but this was more about setting up Fletcher for another shot at the TNT championship as he called out Adam Cole. Do you think that they're going to do that at All In, or you think they're not going to wait that long? They'll probably do it on like TV at some point.
That was a jarring idea you just gave me. Please don't. TV is fine. A main event on Collision or a middle of the show match on Dynamite It is just fine, but God, no, not at all in. Card is going to be too long as is. No disrespect. You don't need the fucking European Championship match. No disrespect. Is it me or does Fletcher feel bigger than this now? Just me? Like, it kind of feels like he should squash fucking Adam Cole. No disrespect.
I feel like Fletcher would probably be better off going after the unified title if you want to make that like a secondary top championship. He's the type of guy I could see like making it feel like he's getting elevated by winning that title.
Yes, as opposed to this, which feels like a consolation prize.
We get a video package, MJF American Hero video package, where they talk about he's stepping foot in Arena Mexico. The last time he did, he sold it out. MJF called Mystico a big fish in a small pond, as the best wrestler in the world isn't from Mexico, but is from the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. Then we got this weird ass segment where Carlos Cabrera, legendary Spanish announcer, he comes out to promote the collaboration between AEW and CMLL ahead of Grand Slam Mexico next week. Cabrera gives this big intro where he says a star who debuted over 40 years ago. He is an idol for generations, a legend to fans of all ages, someone who has taken many masses, and a real living legend. Atlantis! Atlantis and Atlantis Jr. come out to the ring.
Don't get rid of that picture, by the way. Let's see the other picture again. Does this not look like if somebody used AI to make Tony Khan older?
I'm done with you. Atlantis and Atlantis Jr. come out to the ring. They are immediately interrupted by FTR and Stokely Hathaway. Stokely says that he heard the words living legends, and they are only two he is aware of, and it's Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood. Hathaway told Cabrera to beat it, and Atlantis has the look in his eyes of someone so old they're about to defecate himself on national TV. Hathaway ran down FTR's accomplishments the last few months. They took out the Rock and Roll Express. They turned Nigel McGuinness into a pill popper as he takes melatonin, hoping he goes to sleep and wakes up in 2002. And when he was last relevant, Daniel Garcia was left contemplating retirement and brought up the OnlyFans link will drop any day now. Adam Copeland is at home staring at a wall, and his brain is sizzling like a fajita plate from Chili's. There's one more thing FTR has to accomplish, and that's performing in every major building except Arena Mexico, and they'll get that no matter what. Harwood called Atlantis the oldest wrestler in all of wrestling and said that if FTR wrestled back in his day in the 30s, they'd have fared well too. Atlantis could have been their bag boy, as they would have beaten everyone in their path, and asks how many depends Atlantis goes through. Atlantis had enough. The fight was on as FTR and the Atlantis family fought at it for a bit. FTR gets the advantage. They're about to deliver a spike power driver on Atlantis when Adam Cole left commentary and helps out the Atlantis family. The Don Callis family then joins Kyle Fletcher, Konosuke Takeshita, and Hechicero. The numbers get the better of them until Templario and Bandito, they run down to the ring to join the fight. The brawl continues with FTR attacking them from behind. Then the music of Brody King hits. He comes down to join the melee. He throws some punches and throws every heel in his path out the way. FTR and the Callis family try to bail but are wiped out by Templario, and Bandito dives, leaving Harwood surrounded by King, Cole, Bandito, Atlantis Jr., and ultimately Atlantis was the one who dropped him and sent him through the crowd. Atlantis was hot on the trails through the crowd. This was absolute chaos. It left the Luchador standing tall, and this sets up a big party match for next week in Arena Mexico, when it's going to be Bandito, Templario, Atlantis Jr., Adam Cole, Brody King, and Daniel Garcia versus Hechicero, the Don Callis family, and FTR. What did you think? What do you think about FTR and Stokely? They feel like they're on side missions, but they're hilarious when they're on the mic. I love it.
Yeah, they're fucking great. I was gonna say, is next week 4 hours too?
No, they said 2.5 hours.
We got a 10-man tag and a fucking 12-man tag. Oh, good lord. I'm over it. I'm over all this. You know, Forbidden Door is my least favorite time of the year, so now I got to deal with it twice. I got to deal with this show, then I got to deal with Forbidden Door. Oh, Lord. This was fine. Stokely's hilarious. FTR is pretty funny, though. All those jokes are low-hanging fruit, and I popped every time. It's so ridiculous. That's for the brawl and stuff.
Stokely's the best. He's the best. He's absolutely the best.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's get over it. 22-man tag. Let's do it. Let's get this over with. Please and thank you. Just to catch this,
like, leave me the hell alone.
Right? All team need to be on the show for. Fine.
Lexi Nair is backstage with the Learning Trees, Brian Keefe and Big Bill, who said they were going to stack W's, and that's what they did against the Gates of Agony a few weeks ago. They said if there's another tag team out there when they've cut off by the returning Workhorsemen, who said failure is not an option where they come from. JD Drake and Anthony Henry said if Bill and BK want it their way, it's time to punch in and knock out. Bill said that if they want to have their skulls cracked by any means, Keith yelled crack, 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 as Drake said, and said Keith should switch to decaf. This is an instance where I wanted AEW to adopt what WWE does when they have backstage segments and they have the lower third who tells you who's on screen. This is what they needed for the Workhorsemen. I like the Workhorsemen, but goddamn, it's been a while.
I thought you were gonna say they should do what WWE does and release these worthless cocksuckers. Yes, agreed. It's like what the fuck? JD Drake, are you fucking serious? We want JD Drake. That should be going on right now because he would be gone. You all be complaining about how the big bad corporation is treating him poorly. He offers nothing. I am sorry. No disrespect. If you listen, I'm all for people making a living. If you want to pay him to sit down somewhere, I'm good with that. I approve. But TV? Are you for real? I wouldn't have Brian Keith on TV. He's way more important than that guy. Good Lord. Oh, I'm sorry. No disrespect.
I understand. This is fair. These are fair assessments.
Insane.
Then we get Timeless Tony Storm with Luther going up against Julia Hart with Sky Blue. Mercedes Moné joins the commentary team, and once again, she does only says one thing on the headset and then has her dinner in a movie, showing one of the 7 deadly sins, gluttony. Then you get Timeless Tony Storm. She comes out, and then Julia Hart comes out with Sky Blue by her side. They battle at it. McGinnis says that he'd love to have a bite of Mercedes' steak. Storm went over to Mercedes' table, but was attacked from behind by Blue and Hart before the matchup. Aubrey ejects Sky Blue from ringside after that as Monet crackles as the Doctor and Luther tend to Storm. Storm struggles to her feet but orders Aubrey to ring the bloody bell. They start going at it. Julia Hart had a lot of this under control. While this is going on, we hear that Mercedes has tweeted out a challenge for the CMLL World Women's Championship next week at Grand Slam Mexico against the champion Zeus, who she has beaten before on Dynamite last year. And unimpressed, Mercedes watches on as Aubrey backed off Storm, allowing Hart to seek in a tarantula at one point. We get Storm hits the Sky Blue for a 2 count. She comes back and Hart hits her tries to go for a moonsault, but Storm moves off the way. Storm follows through and only for Hart to basically walk right into the big package for the 1-2-3. This was fine. Not really much to write home about. They didn't get like that much time, but it was it was fine for what we saw here. Post-match, Storm celebrated her win, but failed to see Monet entering the ring, standing over the falling champion. Monet helped Storm up and sniffed her hair in a callback to their original first-time meeting a couple of weeks back. She whispers something into Storm's ear before slamming her to the mat and firing off punches until Mina Shirakawa makes her way down to the ring to make the save for Tony. Mina's music hits and Mercedes bails from the ring. Shirakawa tends to Storm, putting her against her bosom before Monet comes back in and she attacks Mina from behind and launches her from the ring. She then picks up the AEW Women's World Championship and then told Tony to kiss the title goodbye. Any thoughts on Miss Toni Storm picking up the win here and the latest build between her and Mercedes?
Is that what that was? It's not really what you described. I saw a build for Mina and Mercedes, and the build was the same build she had with Jamie Hayter. Jen Peppermint is stealing money, and this is not acceptable. I am not a fan. The first half of this was something we already saw last week, and then the second half of this was something we saw a few weeks ago. Good Lord. I wish this match happened right after their first meeting, because at their first meeting, it felt like this is the biggest women's match in AEW history. It still is. It just doesn't feel like that anymore. It just feels like Mercedes got sucked into the Tonyverse.
or Tony got sucked into the Mercedes verse. Either or.
I have a joke to keep to myself, but yes.
Later on in the show, we get Renee, who catches up with Mercedes Moné and asks her about her tweet and what she whispered to Toni Storm. And Mercedes says she doesn't kiss and tell. She then Paquette brings up her challenge for the CMLL Women's title when Zeuskis walks up to her and says that she accepts her challenge. And she says bitch and drops Mercedes with a forearm before Mercedes runs off. She then looks into the camera and says that she'll see Mercedes at Grand Slam Mexico. So yes, 5 belts Monet might be coming a little bit sooner than All In Texas, as next week in Arena Mexico, it will be Mercedes challenging Zeuskis for the CMLL World Women's Championship. Mercedes is definitely winning this title.
God damn it. I'd get rid of that. I mean, not get rid of that. That belt that what you call it has. That's one of the uglier belts I've seen. It's not as quite as bad as the NWA Women's Championship, but it's up there. It's bad. Mercedes and whatever. Who cares? I don't care. I'm sorry. It'll be a good match. The first match was good, if I remember correctly. Oh, disrespect.
This kind of existed more than anything. I agree with Power Driver finisher. It existed.
So how was what you going to finish this, Mina?
I think Mina will probably first Mercedes on one of these weeks heading into All In.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
The which belt does she hold? Zeuskis?
The CMLL World Women's Championship.
That one, War Hero 99. It's fucking heinous. Not as ugly as the NWA Women's Championship, because that belt, with the picture in the middle, that's the ugliest belt of all time. If there's an uglier one, I ain't seen it. But it's in the conversation.
Renee Paquette, this is when we had the backstage segment with Hangman and the Bucks. We also get a backstage segment with Ricochet, who is with who is having a meeting. I knew you were gonna laugh at this.
He's looking like he's trying to preach to these two that fucking gay rights isn't the real thing. He's telling them that he's like, it's not okay.
He's like, my brothers, you have to protect your manhood. Like he's a toxic preacher, a toxic masculinity preacher.
Absolutely. Can't be putting cream in your black coffee, brother.
Lexi there is backstage with Ricochet, who says everyone knows he's searching for the perfect individuals to help his quest at winning gold in AEW. Lee Johnson, Blake Christian strut in and says that they also need someone, which Ricochet said they're correct. He's been watching them for a while, but says that they're acting like make-believe ricochets, and there's something that they're missing. He then cackled, aha, and walked off. We shall see who's Ricochet going to recruit to his team.
Good Lord. Where's this going, you think? What's the point of all this? Outside of giving Ricochet something to do.
Yeah. I don't know what the payoff is. I want to see who he's going to pick to be in his crew.
You should pick nobody. Decide that nobody's as good as him, and therefore he's not going to bring anybody in.
That would also work. Then you had Mark Briscoe, Tomohiro Ishii, and Willow Nightingale teaming up in a mixed trios matchup against MXN
Lord.
Collection and Taya Valkyrie. This was a quick but fun trios matchup here. We see that Chris Statlander is watching from backstage. This breaks down when Willow is left in the ring with Taya Valkyrie. Taya gets a near fall on a roll-up, but she misses a high kick on Nightingale, who stacks her up with the Babe with the powerbomb. 1, 2, 3. The former conglomeration picks up a win, and Willow gets a hug from Tomohiro Ishii. I love seeing MXM Collection on my screen. They're always fun in this kind of jobber to the stars role, and we got some stars here with Willow. Willow's a star, and Mark Briscoe's awesome. Mark Briscoe's awesome. He is awesome. But this was a fun yet forgettable matchup.
A lot of that on this episode. Is that how you would sum Collision up?
Yeah,
this episode, I mean.
Yeah, this episode of Collision was fun yet forgettable matches, but we did get some interesting tidbits as far as story being told, because you get a clip from last week where Chris Statlander was walking out of the building for Fyter Fest and says that if Willow Nightingale is done with her, then she's done with it too. Folks should realize that there's no one on this roster like her, so why isn't that good enough? Then Wheeler Yuta walks up to her and says that he knows things have been tough for her since leaving Best Friends, and it's not easy seeing how things have worked out for him. But if Statlander needs any advice, he's here for her. Statlander shrugs it off, but then Yuta said, forget about Willow and what others think. Make her own choices. Statlander says okay, and she walks away. She then goes face-to-face with Marina Shafir before storming off, and Shafir then stares a hole in Yuta, who's laughing into the camera. So this kind of teases that maybe possibly we might get, or they're at least teasing, Statlander joining up with Yuta in the Death Riders.
I mean, it would get her on TV.
Yeah.
But, like, that's the only positive. She's already had way too many face heel turns. She's been around for 12 seconds. And joining this group, yeah, I
had to get this picture.
Evil villain Wheeler is so silly. I can't take this seriously at all. Fucking emo villain. Like, get the fuck out of here. God damn it.
This picture is hilarious to me.
Does Marina not want another woman in the group? I mean,
it felt like that. That's what it felt like.
I mean, in real life, she shouldn't, because that's her only contribution to the group. But kayfabe, she shouldn't be threatened by Statlander. She's a badass. Kayfabe, and she's a badass in real life too. But I mean, as far as talent goes, good respect.
I like the bit of story, because that's what I was asking for last week. It was just criminal and egregious. The minimal amount of women that we had on the show, at least there was something here. I don't know what happened to Jimmy here. He'll join us when he's ready to come back. Then we get a bonus matchup, a standby matchup with the Beast Mortos going one-on-one with Ring of Honor World Champion Bandito. Bell sounds and Mortos immediately runs over Bandito, who tried a monkey flip, but Bandito just sends him packing to the outside and hits a tope suicida. Back inside, Bandito misses a dive and Mortos steamrolls him in the process. Mortos ripped at the mask as Mortos time to launch Bandito to the outside, followed by a tornillo showing his athleticism. Mortos hit a shotgun drop kick, but missed the corner charge. Bandito connects with a huge double boot that flattened Mortos, and then he gets a running start and hits a multiple revolution head scissors that popped the crowd. Probably the most energy we heard from the crowd in the second half of the show. He tries for the 21 plex, but Mortos avoided it. Hits a tornillo bomb and then a pop-up Samoan drop that got a big reaction for a near fall. Bandito puts him down. He hits a GTS. He goes to the top rope for a frog splash, but Mortos cuts him off. Both men brawl onto the top rope before Bandito hits a wildly impressive moonsault avalanche slam off the top rope that got a huge reaction from this crowd as Bandito picks up the victory here. Very good matchup. This was like a low-key banger. They just went out there and probably had the crowd on their feet and more energetic than anything on this Collision episode. Definitely, if this was a standalone episode, this would be the match of Collision for sure.
Sure.
It was a heat, or as you would call it, a heatless banger. Not much
I would
story
say,
to go along here.
Yeah, it's just two people who are not over having a match. Hey, whatever you say. Whatever you say so. You know where that goes. Nowhere. No disrespect.
Then you get Tekla going up against Queen Aminata, Tekla's second matchup since signing with AEW. But man, Queen Aminata just went out here and said, I'm going to make this my showcase, actually. she just beat the crap out of Tekla to the point that people online believe that Queen Aminata was definitely pissed off for real. And if you saw the ending of this matchup, you would say so as well. She was kicking the shit out of her. She was hitting some rough DVDs and charging boots, looking at the camera. You get back inside. Tekla gets a head scissors in the ropes and then does the spider pose on top of the top rope. Aminata answered back with short arm clotheslines and then a snap suplex, spinning fisherman suplex, and followed as Tekla crawled to the corner where Aminata hit the off with her head, taking her fucking head off with a kick. That shit looked vicious as hell. It almost seemed like Tekla didn't make the kick out, but the referee, Paul Turner, pulled his count. Tekla hit a kick through the ropes, but Aminata answered with a wild headbutt right to the chin, unique head scissors before hitting a top rope double somp. Tekla then managed a flash roll-up for 2. She fired off a big forearm and then did her spider walk, flattening Aminata with a big gore. And then she finished things off with the death trap submission for the submission victory here. Tekla picks up her second win on AEW television here, and what turned out to be a good matchup because Aminata just beat the crap out of her for most of this matchup. She took like 80% of this matchup where she just was beating the crap out of Tekla. Tekla had bruises on her face. And then as Tekla still had the death trap submission on at the end, she then, you see Aminata basically hit her arm away and then just walks out, not selling the submission after the matchup.
Oh, shit. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's an issue. Hey. I'm not sure if that's an issue with Tekla in particular or with the way she's been treated in AEW. You would imagine she's not quite pleased with her usage. She shouldn't be. She's very talented and she looks fantastic outside of that goofy ass hair she decided to wear to the last year or so. That aside, yeah, I'd be pissed too that we're pushing Tekla, who ironically looks quite similar to people we used to push when we started this promotion. Yeah, I'm not. Oh, she was probably complaining earlier? I can see that.
Prior, I think either last week or the week before, I think it was. Yeah.
So she doesn't like her spot? I mean, she shouldn't, But
she hadn't been used for like a month before this matchup. So
outside of the obvious and the other obvious, what's the issue with Queen Aminata? The obvious is she's a woman, therefore there's only so many spaces. Sorry, and then the other obvious, you know what that is.
She's a black woman.
Yeah, I mean, look at what's her face. She's one of the best in the world. She can't even get on TV.
Athena.
I was about to call her Ember Moon. You know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Calling her by a slave name. How dare you? How dare you?
Absolutely. She's absolutely not a slave in ROH. What? She's been trapped for fucking 2 years. Absolutely. That's free. No, you're not. You just got to a new plantation.
That's free. Backstage, Lexi there is with Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne, asking if Sabian's surprise Christian Cage mentioned last week was ready, and Wayne asks where Christian was and where his mom was. Sabian said Christian is putting in hard work with his mother. But quickly pivoted to give Wayne a special video of his Best of Super Juniors. They cut back to Wayne told Sabian he loved it, and Sabian said it's what brothers are for. Sabian said Christian wanted to tell him how proud he is of Wayne, and he doesn't know where he'd be without Christian, and the same can be said for Nick Wayne. Sabian walked off, and Wayne didn't like that last line he heard. So the plot thickens.
That's ridiculous and hilarious. I'm going to need some type of progression. Nick Wayne needs to be proactive now. He needs to find a way to get Christian off his ass. How would you go about that? I don't know. Or we could just do a split now. I'm fine with whatever, but I need another step. Yeah. He should get Christian a title shot against Adam Cole. That's the solution.
I would actually like that. I actually like that. And then finally, we had another Paragon versus Don Callis family main event, quote unquote. It was Paragon and Daniel Garcia versus the Don Callis family, Konosuke Takeshita, Josh Alexander, Lance Archer, and Hechicero, with RPG Vice in their corner. The action breaks down pretty late in this one. Once again, Tony is an absolute maniac who decided to go another overrun this week. RPG Vice was wiped out by Kyle O'Reilly on the outside. Strong called for the high-low, but referee Aubrey put a stop to it, saying that O'Reilly wasn't legal. Archer jumped on the apron and choked O'Reilly behind her back as Alexander planted Strong with a bridging German suplex for the win, as the Don Callis family get some revenge for their loss last week at the end of Fyter Fest, and they stand tall to end this show. This was decent, just like last week's 8-man tag, and decent, but yet forgettable.
I keep hearing how great Collision is. I'm telling me for years, well, not a year now. Collision is actually the A show. I mean, really, if you look at the quality,
when it's on its own and it's live, it's good. It's good. But when it's at the end of a 4-hour show, you can tell they're just
hey, watch this
matches. It's matches.
2 hours of the most boring shit you've ever seen. Okay.
Well,
I mean, it's better than Dynamite some weeks. I mean, I would say so. Watch this. Stinks. You talking about?
I hate you. You didn't even watch. Stop. But write your score down for the Dynamite portion of this and let us know in the live chat. Send a super chat donation if you want to show some love to what we're doing here. And of course, let us know your match of the night for Dynamite, for Collision if you want. If you watch both halves of the show, if you want to just give one match of the night for the show, that's fine. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle for Dynamite portion, for the Collision portion. Out of 10, what did you give both halves of the show? And of course, let us know in the chat as well. So for the Dynamite portion of AEW Summer Blockbuster, in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board from both of us. And for me, for the Collision portion of AEW Summer Blockbuster, in 3, 2, 1. This is a slight thumbs up because at least they spread it out. Some of the stuff we got Mercedes and Tony Storm on this half of the show. We got a great matchup with Bandito and Beast Mortos. The last half of the main event storyline was on this one. This was an improvement on what we got from last week, and that's all I can ask for from the Collision half of this. For the Dynamite portion, out of 10, I'm gonna give that half of the show. I'm actually gonna give that half of the show a 9. I thought it was actually, no, I'll go 8.5. 8.5 sounds better. 8.5 because I really love the main event storyline that was told throughout the first half of the show as well, and especially the Swerve and Ospreay matchup. I really love the Omega Okada video package into the contract signing and angle that they did. I thought that all the matches were decent enough, except for probably the trios matchup was probably the most disappointing out of all the matchups, but that still served the purpose for building up MJF and Mystico, and it was strong build up for All in Texas as well as next week's Grand Slam Mexico. So I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Where are you going?
Jesus, like
8. Wow. There we go. Look at that.
Yeah, I thought it was a good episode of Dynamite. I got a very good episode of Dynamite. I thought the opening match was really good, though not tremendous or terrific or splendid or fantastic or amazing or awesome or those words you used. It's overrated. I thought the trios match was not great, not good. Whatever the opposite of amazing and terrific and tremendous. This fucking stinks, and it shouldn't stink with all these people in it. But good lord, the tag match with women, I didn't think it was great. But all the angles hit for me. Hangman and Company, the Bucks and Company, and then Omega and Okada. I thought really, really dumped.
Yeah. And then for the Collision half of this, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Like it's where I gave like a slight thumbs up. It was better than last week where it was just, they didn't even try. I gave that like a 5.5. This was a step up because at least they had some top stars during this half of the show. And it felt like more of a cohesive 4-hour block instead of 2 separate shows like last week's did. So 7 out of 10 for that portion. So overall for me, AEW Summer Blockbuster, I gave it 8.5 for the Dynamite portion, 7 for Collision. That's 15.5. So 7.25 for overall for this episode of AEW.
7.75.
So yeah, 7.75. Excuse me. So almost an 8. We'll give it an 8 overall. I'll give it the curve.
Teachers' pet scores. This is outrageous. It's 8, really. That's right next to a 9. So it's like a 9.
That's right next, man. When you really think about it, man. And then we did do a poll for this for AEW Summer Blockbuster. So we just graded. You just were able to give your score out of 10 and 47%
guaranteed. Give it
47%. Give it a 9 through 10.
Then they tell me this channel's not biased. Well, this is the fan base it cultivates. What are you even talking about? A 9 or a 10? Good lord, you gave it 8.5. Come on, man.
Hey, I'm fair. I'm fair and biased. I'm fair and non-biased. But what was your match of the night?
Oh, Swerve and Ospreay. As not spectacular as it was still really good. Even great if you like.
Yeah, like I said, I thought that match was tremendous. That's my match of the night overall. And for the Collision portion, I would give it to Bandito and Mortos. MVP for the show, Jimmy.
Boy, this is significantly more difficult for me. I'm going Actually, I'm going to go with Ospreay. Yeah. No reason.
I'm actually going to give it to Jon Moxley for like the first time in months. I really liked his promo. Loved the opening segment where he was just incognito. Yeah, that was just so awesome. I love that. I'll give a co-MVP to Moxley and to Hangman because I thought Hangman, his fired up promo, and then the backstage promo were really good. So really good stuff from the main event portion of AEW heading into All In, and an LVP for the show, Jimmy.
I'm gonna I'm going to give it to Kevin Knight, ironically, who I thought was the better half last week. I thought he was the worst of the group this week. Sorry.
I'm going to give it to Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. I felt like they were the ones that were kind of off because they're not used to selling, bumping, and giving. So
I'm 50. What the fuck am I bumping? Why am I doing a bumping? Oh, make no fucking sense.
That's what they were asked to do, and they didn't do it. So I mean, hey, but that was all from us here, AEWramble. Once again, we're sorry for the first half, second half of it all. We can't control what StreamYard does. StreamYard does what it does, but we appreciate y'all for joining us in the chat for this second half of today's review. And of course, Jimmy, let everybody know where they can follow you on social media and when they'll see you again.
Oh, actually, LVP Queen Aminata. She might be out of a job soon.
Yeah, that's probably my LVP for Collision, and MVP for Collision. I'll give it to Beast Mortos. Beast Mortos was really good in that matchup.
I'm going to try to avoid Twitter. You hear about all the political shit. It's just bringing me down. Democracy dying in real time.
You can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. I'll be live tomorrow, 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time, with our NJPW Dominion 2025 preview with myself, Sanal, NJ News, breaking down the card for this Sunday show from Osaka Joe Hall. So join us live for that. I want to thank you to Jimmy for joining me for both halves of this review today. Sorry for the inconvenience once again, and drop the thumbs up on this video. Share it with your friends. Let us know in the comments down below if you want us to put both halves together as one, and we'll put that together, and we'll have my editor put it together, and then we'll put it up on the channel for you to view it all in one viewing, if you will. But also, you can go to patreon.com/TrueHillHeat, where me and Jimmy are watching every matchup from the Okada Omega series. So go over there and check it out. We got our Wrestle Kingdom 11 rewatch, and we'll be back with our Dominion 2017 rewatch coming up very, very soon. But thank you so much. Thank you to Jimmy. Thank you to all of you who joined us live. For Jimmy, it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been AEWramble episode 202, Unified. We are signing off until, let's do it over here. We are signing off until next time.